All right, shalom, shalom. This is your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, coming with another lesson through the Spirit. Lord willing, this be edifying to the Lord's elect. And before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto our power Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Ruach Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Shalom to the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, it's laboring in the word, and is pushing the gospel of the great kingdom that's soon to come. Shalom to the Akwath that's listening in, that's remaining true to the faith and remaining faithful and submissive to their husbands and guiding their children. All right, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the 12 tribes that scattered abroad throughout the four corners of the earth. To you Israelite foreigners out there who live among the heathen and who look like those heathen nations, but your lineage goes back to the progenitors of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel through the line of your fathers. All right, I want to say peace and blessings to you all. Barakatham. So, a lot of stuff is going on. So I got a couple videos that I wanted to share with you. All right. And, pretty much just, give somewhat of the theme of prophecy that's playing out, you know what I'm saying? Because things are, like I said, things are going on right now. And, like the Apostle Tar says, if you miss a day, you miss a lot. All right. But something very eerie is taking place. So without further ado, let's listen to this right now. And I got another video and I'm gonna pretty much expound on it.
Minutes ago, the U.S. bombed Iran yet again, striking the Navy and missile launch sites near the Strait of Hormuz. American Military Central Command has already confirmed this has happened. They're calling it a preemptive self-defense strike. The United States has clearly lost the war, and the peace deal they're about to sign is a surrender. So this is Trump telling the military, go bomb Iran. Let's see if we can get them to respond. And because the Iranians didn't respond, the Americans now look really stupid. Because at this current state of the ceasefire, the Iranians hold the upper hand. So if war resumes, the Americans think maybe we can win the next war and get the upper hand in negotiations like Iran has now. And this just didn't work. Instead, it makes you look very stupid, makes the Iranians look very patient and restrained. So the Iranians, in the middle of negotiations, aren't attacking you. Why are you attacking them while you're talking about a great peace deal? It's because Trump is afraid and terrified of taking any peace deal that the Israelis do not want. So afraid and terrified that he's ready to risk a whole nother war that could become even worse. Comment your thoughts why you think this is going on. Follow me.
All right. So there's one aspect to this thing, and to further confirm this, let's go to this article real quick in End Time Headlines. Bear with me. All right, this is endtimeheadlines.org. It reads, Iran's new supreme leader warns Israel will not live to see another 15 years of Salakia. That's not the right, it's not the right article. Real quick, bear with me. Okay. Which, this is another article that came out today as well. All right, Iran threatens retaliation and says that U.S. strikes have violated the ceasefire. Okay. And no one is surprised at this point. You see what I'm saying? All right, no one is surprised at this point that these jokers are attacking while there's ceasefires going on. You know what I'm saying? And this is further taking away from America's credibility, from Israel's credibility. You know what I'm saying? All right, this is why these threats coming from Iran is aimed at both America and Israel, because they're both joined at the hip. You know what I'm saying? So it was the spirit that had me, hit that other article. All right. But it says tensions in the Middle East, all right, which is actually West Asia. Tensions in West Asia surged on Tuesday as Iran issued sharp warnings of retaliation following U.S. military strikes on its territory, claiming the attacks represented a serious breach of a fragile ceasefire that had held for nearly 7 weeks. All right, if that's what you think, but okay. It was not holding up for no 7 weeks, man. All right. But it says, according to a report from Newsweek, Iranian officials condemned the strikes on Monday, which targeted missile launch sites and Iranian vessels in southern Iran, as a gross violation of the truce. The U.S. Central Command, or CITCOM, described the action as necessary self-defense to protect American forces from Iranian threats, including attempts to deploy mines. All right. Why would Iran be doing all this in the midst of negotiations? You see what I'm saying? All right. The smoke and mirrors that's coming from this administration is absurd. But you know, as you can see, this tension isn't going down. You know what I'm saying? It's not slowing down. It's not cooling down or anything. You see what I'm saying? It's only intensifying, right? As the scriptures say. Let's go to Isaiah the 13th chapter. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 13 and verse 3. It says, let's go to verse 4. It says, the noise of the multitude in the mountains, like as of a great people, a tumultuous noise of the kingdoms of nations gathered together. The Lord of hosts mustered the host of the battle. Okay. So it says Iran's foreign ministry delivered a stern message stating, undoubtedly the Islamic Republic of Iran will not leave any act of mischief unanswered and will not hesitate in defending the country's integrity. The statement underscored Tehran's determination to respond decisively to what it views as American aggression. Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei escalated the rhetoric in a statement shared on Telegram, declaring that regional nations would no longer serve as protection for U.S. bases, all right? And they've destroyed all those U.S. bases, man. It's going to take trillions and trillions of dollars to rebuild all these bases, man. All right, so they're not coming back. It says the clock cannot be turned back. The nations and lands of the region will no longer be a shield for American bases, Khamenei said. He further proclaimed that slogans of death to America and death to Israel would resonate more strongly among the Islamic world and oppressed peoples, particularly the youth. You know what I'm saying? Because now everybody knows that the reason why their countries are burning, the reason why why all this war has affected their Gulf states is because of America. You know what I'm saying? So, again, let's go to the scriptures. Isaiah chapter 14. All right, Isaiah 14 and verse 9. It says, hell from beneath is moved for thee to meet thee at thy coming. It stirreth up the dead for thee, even all the chief ones of the earth. All right, all the rulers of the earth, all the nations' leaders. It has raised up from their thrones all the kings of the nations. You see? Verse 10, all they shall speak and say unto thee, art thou also become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? You see, and now the world is looking at America like, wait a minute, bro. You ain't looking too strong no more, man. It's looking like someone like little old us can take you on. You know what I'm saying? It says strikes occurred even as U.S. officials including President Trump, suggested diplomatic negotiations with Iran were progressing. The developments highlight the precarious nature of the ceasefire and raise fears of renewed escalation in an already volatile region. All right. And if I was to speculate, I would say this is why Putin is ramping up all of his his attacks on Kiev, what I'm saying, at this point in time. All right, because the it's time to end that conflict over there, what I'm saying, and put it down for good, because the Lord mustereth the host of the battle, man. All these nations are going to end up coming to the Levant region, West Asia, also known as the Middle East. They're all gonna come down there. You know what I'm saying? So let's get the next video.
So it's official. Iran has nuclear weapons. Yes, the CIA just found them on satellite images. Why do you think Trump stopped the bombing of Iran? Not because they begged them not to, not because of the Saudis or the Emiratis. By the way, do you like my hand? Anyway, no, because they found on satellite images at least 5 nuclear missiles ready to go loaded. All right, and they found them, and guess who supplied them? Not, they weren't in the bunkers. I mean, all the bunkers, all the, oh, wow, we bombed their bunkers that obliterated. How many times you heard that term? It's not because of that. It's not because of what they have stored, like 500 kilograms or whatever of enrichment. No, it was a gift from you-know-who. Who do you think? Pakistan next door? Nope. China? Nope. Russia? Nope. Guess who? The North Koreans by submarines, loaded and supplied them, and they're ready to go. And this is why we did not bomb them. All right? So it's it. This is it. Game over. Okay, now they're equals. There's not going to be any more bombing, guys. I think this is good on the long term. Seriously. Because whoever has nuclear... Wow, look at that plane. I don't know if you can see it. How cool is that? Anyway, the war is over. Enjoy. Celebrate.
Yeah, okay. You can miss me with that type of shit. But ain't nothing going down, man. Ain't nothing going away, I should say. Ain't nothing going away. All right? Like I said, this thing is only going to escalate further because they're in what's known as an escalation trap. All right? I was listening to a couple of former intelligence officials, and they were saying how America is in what's known as an escalation trap, all right, militarily, where they can't back down. You know what I'm saying? They can't back down. All these talks of you know what I'm saying, ceasefires and an end to the war type of deal going on, you know what I'm saying? It's not possible. It's not possible. Given the political ramifications, all right, and the sense of ego and grandiose that obviously accompanies, the standard narcissism that Trump has. Okay, this is not an option. And on top of that, he also has to worry about those who got him in office to begin with. You know what I'm saying? These Amalekites do not want an end to this because they know that this is literally the only way, this is the only chance that they will ever have to achieving this whole Greater Israel initiative. You see what I'm saying? And that's where you have this whole thing that they call a Samson option. All right? The Samson option, which will result in, all right, nuclear arsenals being used on everybody who Israel deems as a threat. All right. So, as of right now, there's nothing confirmed. All right, there's nothing confirmed about what this dude is saying. You know what I'm saying? He didn't come with any with any receipts. He didn't come with any with any tangible evidence or any official reportings. You see what I'm saying? He's just talking with his big old duck bill. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, all right, we know that it's according to prophecy that that all these nations are going to be firing those intercontinental ballistic missiles towards America. All right, we know that this is according to prophecy, man. Let's go to Jeremiah real quick. All right, Jeremiah chapter 50 and verse 14. It reads, "Put yourselves in array against Babylon. Round about, all ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord." All right, and those arrows are going into those missiles. Okay, because a missile is also known as an arrow. All right, in military terms. When it says bend the bow, all right, and shoot at her, all these nations, okay, including her own allies of the NATO countries, will end up doing the very same thing. All right, they're all going to be aiming their nukes at America very soon. All right. So we know this to be the truth, man. We know this to be the case prophetically. Okay, we just don't know if these jokers, the Persians, have the nukes now. We don't know that for certain. All right, all we got is this guy on the screen. So take it with a grain of salt. But let's go to verse 13. Let's go to verse 22. Verse 22, now it's 13, Salakia. Jeremiah 50 and 22, it says, "A sound of battle is in the land, and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations?" Okay? This is a future prophecy. A future prophecy. Okay? And how do I think, all right, because like I said, none of this is confirmed or anything of the like. But what we do know is that the director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, has just stepped down from her position. All right, let's check that out. All right. So this is from RT.com. It says Tulsi Gabbard quits Trump administration. The director of national intelligence had been leading an investigation into U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine. All right. And that's not all. Tulsi Gabbard, she also went against the administration in testifying, saying that there was that there were no nukes in Iran, that Iran had no nukes. Okay. When you look at the political climate that's going on, the tension between the left and the right and this and that and so on and so forth. All right. Interestingly enough, her own what was it? Her own colleague that was directly underneath her, had resigned months earlier. All right. He resigned months earlier. And that was right after it was becoming clear that the US was not winning this war in Iran. You know what I'm saying? And he came out and he had a whole manifesto, so to speak, you know what I'm saying? And he explained how his service, how it was with the service and everything like that. And he served under Tulsi Gabbard. He served under the administration. But this was a fool's errand going into Iran. So he had to point that out. Right? Now, officially, Tulsi Gabbard is resigning for for her husband's sake, stating that her husband has a very rare disease. Okay, so she wants to be by his side. All right. Now, how true that is, we don't know. But all I do know is that she's resigning, and she's resigning at the most at the most inopportune time. You know what I'm saying? It says U.S. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has announced her resignation, citing her husband's recent diagnosis with a rare form of bone cancer. Her resignation came a week after she revealed she was investigating U.S.-funded biolabs in Ukraine. All right? Hey, that could be a coincidence. It could not be. You know what I'm saying? Leave it up to you to come to that conclusion for yourselves. Unfortunately, I must submit my resignation effective June the 30th, 2026. She wrote in a letter to the president that she shared on social media. My husband Abraham has recently been diagnosed with an extremely rare form of bone cancer. At this time, I must step away from public service to be by his side and fully support him through this battle. Okay, now putting that aside, let's go into the things that's happened and all these resignations and all these firings. All right, we've seen at least several generals who have been fired from their positions. At least we've seen several generals, man. All right, admirals. Okay, they've been relieved of duty under this administration. We have seen the firing of Pam Bondi. All right, we've seen Tulsi Gabbard's direct right hand man. He resigned earlier this year. Okay, she's resigning right now. You had that other lady. What was her name? I forget what her name was. What was it? Kristi Noem? I think Kristi Noem, who had also was let go. So all this is going on. It could be her husband having bone cancer or what have you. It could be her ties to investigating these biolabs. All right, specifically during a time where another pandemic is on the rise. Okay, so hey, man, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, but at the end of the day, all right, shit's about to pop off, man. Shit is about to pop off. Okay, and all the ones that were in position to tell the president no, okay, they're being ousted right now. You see what I'm saying? They're all being ousted. It says Gabbard will be replaced by her current deputy DNI, Aaron Lucas. Trump wrote in a post on his Truth Social platform. Tulsi has done an incredible job, and we will miss her, the president added. All right. A former Democrat, Gabbard left the party and denounced its leaders as elitist warmongers and anti-white racists in 2022. Gabbard endorsed Trump in 2024, claiming that only he could, quote, walk us back from the brink of war, unquote. According to media reports and Washington rumors, Gabbard was sidelined by Trump and his closest officials, among them Secretary of State Mark Rubio and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. While plans were drawn up to abduct Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in January and attack Iran in February. All right? Because you remember there was a bunch of tension and infighting within the administration. This is why we were seeing all of these various resignations, all these various firings and left and right. You see what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? This is not this is not a coincidence in my mind. All right. In any case, let me end this off with one scripture. All right. Let's go to Isaiah. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 19 and verse 2. And read on down, it says, "And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight every one against his brother and every one against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. And the spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counselor thereof." All right? "And they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards." All right? Because clearly their counsel is falling apart, man. This is a house that's divided. Literally the White House. Okay? Literally the White House, man. And American people are pissed off. You know what I'm saying? And they're hurting and they're struggling and this and that. And all this joke is thinking about is a ballroom. All right? Verse 4, "And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts." See what I'm saying? So this is, this could be a coincidence, but it's not one in my eyes, man. Like I said, all right, the timing, and it's always about the timing. You can't forget that. You know what I'm saying? Just can't forget it. Hey, we're in the midst of a war that's brewing, you know what I'm saying, internally as well as externally. Because once this thing goes down, okay, lights go out, they're already pointing the finger at Jake. All right. They got this one dude plastered on the news talking about he fired 30 shots at the White House and whatnot. And of course, it's a nigga with dreads. It's so cliche at this point. You know what I'm saying? It's not even original anymore. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do to get these to get these crackers riled up is to show them a Jake with dreaded hair. You know what I'm saying? Looking mean at the camera and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, let me show you this last video. Bear with me.
There's an old saying that black people have always known white people better than we even know ourselves. And I'm going to prove to you why this is true in this video. Number one, the reason my words have always triggered white America is because I've done what most white folks are too terrified to do. I simply put the myth down. I walked away from the racial lies and the narcissistic narratives we were fed from birth. I stopped buying into the delusion that our comfort is the only reality that matters. I'm not talking to you from inside the white bubble anymore. I'm just talking from the outside. You see, there are two Americas. One is built on the hard truth, and the other is built on a white fairy tale. Black people have the clarity they have because they never bought into the myth of white supremacy. They knew it was a hustle from day one. But white America made a deal with that myth. We traded our soul and our connection to reality for a sense of superiority that doesn't even exist. And that's the God's truth. That's why white folks have zero credibility when you talk about race. We can't have credibility when you're living a lie, can you? And in 2026, we're seeing the receipts for that truth. Last month, 8 million people, mostly white folks, marched for No King's Day. They were out there screaming about fascism, affordability, and the loss of democracy under Trump's regime, like the house that just caught on fire this morning. But look at who's not in those streets. Black people largely set this one out. Why, you might ask? It's because black people tried to warn white people for years. They pointed at Trump and said, this is where this ends. They sounded the alarm on the racism, the corruption, and the rot. But white people didn't listen. We went ahead and supported this racist regime in massive numbers anyway, because we were too blinded by our own greed and our own fucking arrogance to care about who got crushed as long as we felt superior. Yes, we saw a great white, morally bankrupt narcissist that mirrored our white narcissism perfectly. Trump, the white man's racist messiah. See, white supremacy is a moral lobotomy. It has turned white America into toxic, delusional people. White narcissism spiritually stunts the person holding on to it. Fact. I know I was a racist. And we need to be clear. White supremacy isn't just the guys in the hoods or the extremists in the news. It's the everyday culture of white America. It's maintained by the average white person who either perpetrates it, denies it, or enables it through a cold, calculated apathy. It's all that silence that gives it permission to breathe. We thought we were the owners of the machine, but we were just the next ones on the menu. Now that the smoke is finally reaching our front doors, we're acting shocked. But black people aren't shocked. They've been looking at us from the outside for centuries, seeing the truth of our chaos while we were busy getting high on our myths. We spend all day, every day, spewing 1,000 false narratives and lies about race, indoctrinating ourselves with a belief system that keeps us trapped in this myth. No, black people aren't coming to save us this time. They're standing back, watching white people fuck around and find out what happens when you build a world on a fucking lie. That's why, despite the struggle, if you ask a black person if they would ever want to trade places and be white, the answer is almost always a resounding no. They'd rather keep their soul and their clarity than inherit our racist soul-crushing delusion. Because at the end of the day, black people have always known white people better than we have ever dared to know ourselves. They've always understood that white supremacy was never just about power. It was a form of enslavement for the white man. And ultimately, it is our destruction. So white America, I'm going to leave you with this. James Baldwin told us, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it's fucking faced.
Damn. Let me get this in Obadiah real quick. God damn. It's Obadiah 1 and verse 2. It says, Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, Who shall bring me down to the ground? See? This pride of yours, all right, has come to be your downfall, man. So, I'm going to cut that there. I pray this lesson was edifying to the elect and the nation of Israel. This has been your brother Zakaria Allah, branched out here in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. In closing, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto our power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who teach well. Peace and blessings to the hopeful elect. Shalom.